you know, the question that has been asked, that how would you deal with someone trying to provoke you? Okay? And you know, that's the problem. The problem that when you have young children, and as I've mentioned many times, when you have young children, and you see Muslims referring their affairs to young children, then know there's a calamity. You know, Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan, one of our scholars, who the evildoers hate him, you know, misguided the baby children hate him. Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan, when he was going through the explanation of Ibn Taymiyyah, Sharh Hamawiyah, and the questioner said that I want to ask a question to the scholars. So he said, in order for the Muslim to be following the correct way to deal with every situation, the best way to go back to the scholars, not to the babies and children. Okay, not babies in the park or children in the park, regardless how old they are, 25, 30, no. So, for example, someone provoking us by insulting Allah or His Messenger in the park. Okay, we know already in the park, this place you're gonna hear things which you're gonna hate, you're gonna dislike. So if you are able to, of course you have to hate it without any doubt, you understand? And even we hate the person who does that without any doubt, you understand? And doesn't mean because we hate him we have to oppress him. No, we don't believe that, you see? Because that's different subjects. But anyone that insults Allah Jalla wa Ala, the Most High, insult our beloved Prophet, ﷺ, of course I'm not gonna love him, understand? But how to deal with him? Do you have to go and oppress him? No. Oppression is forbidden, even against your enemies, you know. So now, for example, in the park, we know there's rules in the park, and we are in Britain, which there is police officers, there is a court. So now the best way, if you think this person is breaking the law, approach to the police officer, listen, so and so is breaking the law. That's how you do it. If every person starts taking the law into his hand or into her hand, then we'll be see what's chaos, you'll be jungle here. You understand? And as I've mentioned, if you cannot handle it, then don't come. You understand? Don't come here. Like, you know, I would say openly. What happened with Jedi, as I've mentioned, you know, a lot of Muslims came and following him, going up and down. I don't know what they're doing there. You know, that is incorrect. You understand? It's incorrect. Rather, like now, because I mentioned Jedi, yeah? Now, if Jedi says something wrong about Islam, he said it with his mouth, so the best way to refute it with you, with knowledge. Okay, you believe what he said is incorrect about Islam, okay? You're wrong. Why is wrong? Such and such. But now, if you turn it into physical things, huh? Yeah, if I attack the Muslim brother, then you have to defend the Muslim. Huh?
Well, I would die for a Muslim brother. That's
wait, Akhi, wait. Say again? No, I would defend the Muslim brother. Okay, but not bring 25 people not doing nothing. That was embarrassment. That was embarrassment. That was embarrassment and humiliation for the Muslims. And now how you do it? You know, if someone break the law, if someone should attack your brother in front of him, defend your brother without any doubt. Defend him, there is no problem with that. Like what happened last time in the park, when one of our brothers got robbed. I had to defend him, alhamdulillah, and I brought back his stuff. But I'm not going up and down. No, leave him, akhir. Leave him, akhir. Don't entertain clown people. Anyway, the point here is that now there is a way to deal with it. Because the brother said defending the Muslim brother. But your Muslim brother, he attacked him physically. Okay, insult your mother. And you know, in the park, the one that we love more than anything else, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been insulted. So why don't you attack people now? Because you know, in the park, you're going to hear things. And you have to control yourself, because by law, you cannot attack someone because it's insulting your religion. Because this place, in the park, they have absolute freedom. You can say whatever you like. So the best way to walk away from him. Okay?
What about the new thing is now somebody stepped on the Quran? How do you prevent people from repeating such actions without directing?
Telling the police.
Yeah, it's barakallah fiqh, telling the police. I'm saying, don't take the law into your hand. Don't take the law into your hand. Especially in our time. Listen, akhi, listen. In our time, the doubt that has been spread amongst the Muslims, against the Muslims, that the Muslims, when they cannot refute someone intellectually, they will turn it into physical. So we have shown them, no. We as the Muslims who are able to destroy any person intellectually. You see? You have to be smart and wise. When the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was praying outside the Kaaba, and the Arab pagans came, and they put what? Rubbish upon his back ﷺ. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, you don't love the Messenger of Allah more than Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Why he said, I saw it, but I couldn't do nothing because I don't have the ability. I don't have what? The ability. You're not able to do that. Understand? That's why the Muslims mentioned that even in a Muslim country, someone start insulting Allah. Is it for every person to go and kill him? Because maybe you're lying against him. You have to take it to the courts. Otherwise, be kiosk. Otherwise, I don't like you, for example. I say, you know what? He just insult Allah. Let's go kill him. Another person, I don't like her. She insult Prophet Muhammad. No. You take it to court. Alhamdulillah, our religion is not a barbaric religion. But some actions of some Muslims who I believe they have jealousy for the deen. But that's not enough, my brothers. May Allah bless you. Jealousy is not enough. That's why we have to go back to the scholars, to those who are old in age and knowledge. But in the park, you have babies and children. Muslims are referring back to them. You see? So we have babies and children. Even this donkey, James. You know, there's two donkeys. There's one in Birmingham and one in London. One in Birmingham is a Muslim. The one in London is a non-Muslim. James. This James is a donkey. And you know, of course, in front of your face, Leon. But I'm not going to control your camera. But you're recording someone who is ignorant about Islam. He has no clue about Islam. He read something here and there, and he's talking about Islam.
That's true.
And that's the side effects of the park as well. It's good to allow people to express themselves, but not on the things which they are not experts. Like if you're someone going around and they say, you know, I'm a what do you call it? I'm a dentist. Say no. Yeah, there is freedom of expression, but you're not a dentist. You're not qualified. Why? Because if we leave him, we will harm the people. That's why in Islam, and today, inshallah, in our class, we'll be discussing and refuting the lies and the doubt of James, showing that Islam's legislation is perfect for every time and every place. You understand? Without any doubt, Islam came to preserve 5 things. This will leave them aside. And these 5 things, if we do not take care of them and preserve them, then we'll be destroyers of nations. Alcohol, gambling, fornication, adultery. Islam came to do what? To mention to demolish some of them and to show you how to deal with some of them. Anyway, go back to the point. The point here is, for example, you go back to the scholars. You know, we live in London, in a non-Muslim country. They have their own government, and they have a place in the park. There's a place in London when someone is allowed to say anything against Allah, against His Messenger, against the Queen, against anyone. So is it okay for me to go there and start fighting people? But if I fight them, I'm breaking the law. And see what the scholars will tell you. Then they'll tell you go. But if you go back to children, they're gonna come 20 of them fighting and walking around, running around like a headless chicken. You understand? So there's a way to deal with it. Even me, I'm not someone you refer back to. Likewise, I'm young. I'm still young. Or I have some hastiness sometimes, you know. That's why I always mention, go back to scholars. Go back to student of knowledge. That's why I mention student of knowledge that I trust and I know. Because if you come to me and ask me, I want to fix my car, because I care about you, I'm going to direct you to someone who knows how to fix the car. I'm not going to direct you to every person. Doesn't mean I believe every person doesn't know. No, I'm going to direct you to someone who's trustworthy. That's why I mentioned go back to scholars, go back to student of knowledge, the scholars, Sheikh Fawzan, other than them. But we have children in Britain, babies online, saying Fawzan is scholars $4. This baby, this donkey. You see? Or you have, so that's the problem. The Muslims will be destroyed when they turn away from their scholars, they start following the foolish ones. As the Messenger of Allah said, حُدَثَاء الْأَسْنَانِ سُفَهَاء الْأَحْلَامِ, foolish-minded and young in age. So as I mentioned, there is someone who wants to step on the Quran in the park. It doesn't come under the law of the park. You're allowed to do whatever you like. So you complain to the authority.
The authority said,
yes.
I said to the authorities that I was talking to 3 police officers.
How do you know who's a right scholar and who's not a right scholar?
That's a good question. I'm coming to it.
I spoke to 3 police
Because
officers.
he was before you, yeah?
I spoke to 3 police officers.
Yes.
I spoke to 3 police officers.
Go on, akhi.
And he doesn't come on me.
Yeah, he speaks to Prince
There's 3 police officers. Yeah?
Naam.
I said, James over there. I said, is there a difference between hate speech and free speech?
Yes.
And then James said, no, there's not. And I said to them, obviously, by law, they can't do anything to him. You understand? By law, they can't do anything. I said, James is over there. I fear that some Muslims will come and hurt him.
Sahih, correct.
I said that to the police officer.
Yes, correct.
And what did they do? They didn't even say, bro, you're banned for a park for your safety. Rather, they let him around and he's probably walking around here still.
Yes, so that's a good point, because what I noticed as well, we have to be just. Some non-Muslims, they want to come here, insult Allah and His Messenger, and they want to expect everyone to behave the way they like. So they want to even control people's emotion. Okay, I mean, even me, the first time I came to this place, 05, I saw someone insult a prophet, I was gonna go angry. I was to fight him, bro. I was thinking, what this guy's on? Understand? Then the brother Mansour was here. Mansour put me aside. He said, Shamsi, calm down. He said, this place, you have to control yourself. If you don't like it, walk away from it. Because that is the rules of this park and the government. You cannot come try to change it. Understand? Don't come here. But what is the best way? Wallahi, James, the enemies of Islam are giving a da'wah to the non-Muslims.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this history, the history repeats itself. The story of Tufail ibn Amr al-Dawsi, one of the Prophet Muhammad's disciple, came to Mecca. He was a non-Muslim, he was a polytheist. And the people outside Mecca warning people against Prophet Muhammad. So when they saw him, they said, who are you? He said, my name is such and such, or so and so. They said, you are a leader of a big tribe in Yemen. If you become Muslim, then the whole tribe will become Muslim then. So be aware of someone's inside, next to the Kaaba, praying. Be aware of him. He will cause you to split between you and your family. So he said, they scared me so much, I had to put a wool in my ears to not just listen to him. He said, while I was doing tawaf, going around the Kaaba, I saw Muhammad praying, and I liked his prayer. And some of his recitation entered to my ears. So I removed the wool and I said, woe to me. I'm an Arab man, I know Arabic language very well, and I know the speech that is from human being, and the speech is not from human being. I know poetry, because it says the poetry what he's saying. So he said, I like the Quran. What he did, he followed the Prophet Muhammad to his house. No, the house of Ibn al-Arqam. So he knocked the door and he told him the story, and he became Muslim. Who gave him da'wah? The non-Muslims. If they left him alone, he would have just come, do his thing and walk away. But subhanAllah, because they warned him so much, he said, let me see what this guy's on. You see? Allah said, وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. They plan, and Allah plans, and Allah is the best of the planners. Allah turns the plans of the evil one against themselves. Allah does not plan against the righteous ones. Allah defends the righteous ones. Allah plans against the evil ones who try to mislead the sincere ones. So to summarize it, the best way, if someone tries to provoke us by insulting Allah and His Messenger in the park, then walk away from him. Turn away from him. Or tell him, okay, you insulted the Prophet Muhammad. Why? What is your business? Some of them, they've been brainwashed too much. So say, why you insult the Prophet? What do you have against him, alayhi salatu salam? Okay, what is the problem? Are you not happy that he said you should not bury your daughter alive? You're not happy with that? You're not happy that he said women should take heritage? You're not happy with that? You're not happy that he said to the woman she should own her own business? You're not happy with that? You're not happy? They say, no, it's the capital punishment. Okay, capital punishment is against the good one or evil ones? Evil ones.
Evil ones, evil.
The evil ones. Someone who goes around killing innocent people. In Islam, he has severe punishment, capital punishment. We don't put him in a holiday inn, in a hotel. Okay? And first of all, you have no criteria. If you're atheist, you don't have no criteria to determine what Prophet Muhammad did was right or wrong. Because your criteria, it's corrupted your feelings, which is, feelings can be objective or subjective. You understand? So I hope that is clear. Huh? The question brother asked me, sorry. He said the brother asked a good question. How do you know the scholars? How do you know what? The true scholars. Alhamdulillah, Allah preserve this religion. Likewise, Allah preserve the teaching and understanding of those best generations. So from the time when, for example, Allah praised the companions. Okay? And the Prophet Muhammad praised the companions. The companions praised their students. And so we go back. So the scholars praise those scholars and so on. So you go back to your scholar, you ask about him. And sometimes the praise is not enough as well. Because sometimes they praise him, afterwards he becomes misguided. A praise doesn't mean khalas, he's infallible. Naam. You have to see how they praise him. Is he still upon the same way which they praised him? Okay? For example, Umar ibn Khattab, he praised who? Abdurrahman ibn Muljim. He was a good reciter, but afterwards, Abdurrahman ibn Muljim killed Ali ibn Abi Talib. So the praise that Umar ibn Khattab gave it to him is not valid anymore because he changed. Naam, he changed his way. So we know the scholars by going, for example, the scholars of our time, not these children, babies and the kids in the park or outside the park online. Sheikh bin Baz, Abdul Aziz bin Abdullah bin Baz. Sheikh al-Albani, Imam al-Albani. Sheikh al-Shinqiti, Badih al-Sindi, from the scholars of India. Safiyur Rahman al-Barkafuri, Abdul Hamid bin Badis, Muqbil bin Hadi al-Wadi'i, and other than from the scholars, and you see their students. In our time, the Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan.
Okay, would it be correct in saying that the Sheikh Fawzan's opinion, and not astaghfirullah, his teachings can be traced back to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself?
Without any doubt, he said, Allah said, but he's not infallible.
These takfiris don't understand that.
Yeah, these takfiris, a lot of them are baby children. They still have traits of their nappies.
How do you see that? Where did you start? Where did you go?
Islam has divided into so many sects.
Into 73 sects, correct.
Sect says that,
That's what I'm saying. So the criteria is the Quran and the Sunnah. The Quran and the Sunnah.
Every sect is going to say that I'm going to follow in the Quran and Sunnah. So
Or for example, someone says companions are misguided. He's not following Quran and Sunnah because Quran and Sunnah praise the Sahaba, praise the companions. You see what I'm saying?
but even in the Quran it does say that even in the time of the Prophet, there are those who were the Prophet Muhammad that actually
Munafiqun.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're not companions because Munafiq, they were not from the Ansar wal Muhajirun. The Munafiq, they were from outside. So Allah praised the Ansar and the Muhajirun and they said they will be in paradise. And of course, Allah is not going to tell us those who are going to be in paradise, they will be Munafiqun. Understand? Khalas. So then in Rafida, Shia, they say for the Quran and Sunnah. I said, no, you lie, you're not for the Quran and Sunnah. Because Quran and Sunnah, Allah praised Sahaba. And now someone says, let us rebel against the Muslim leaders. No, that's not Quran and Sunnah. Quran and Sunnah doesn't say that. We don't follow scholars' opinions. And James is the best person to show you. Doesn't mean because you are quoting some scholars, therefore your point is valid. If you watch James, this clown donkey of London, if you watch his video, he's saying, Ibn Qudama said, so said, no. The scholars, some of them had some opinions which we don't accept it. Why? Because they went against the Quran and the Sunnah, but we believe they never done it intentionally. You see? So when we say Prophet Muhammad said it clearly, explicitly, do not rebel against your leader. Then they tell me, but some scholars said this. Then you become a donkey now. You are a donkey, you're not human being anymore. Because why? Some scholars said, for example, in the books of fiqh, to mention this, some scholars mentioned that the woman testimony is equal to a man testimony is equal to two women testimony. That's not all the times. That in a specific case. You understand? But some scholars said no, it's all the times. Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim said that's incorrect. So now what we're going to do? We said no. Some scholars said it, therefore let us follow it. No. We said they are wrong. Why? Because Allah said such and such. Prophet Muhammad said such and such. And Imam al-Dhahabi said this for those who lie against Islam. Imam al-Dhahabi said, Imam al-Dhahabi was a historian and scholars of hadith. He was a scholar of hadith and a historian. He said there was no woman from the narrators of hadith who were known to be liars. We have 10 narrators. Narrators in hadith. But there were many men, narrators of hadith, they were liars. But those women who narrated hadith, all of them, they were trustworthy, truthful, and honest. And that shows you what? Even one woman, she comes with one narration, you accept it from her. The proof of that, Aisha was a scholar and a jurist. She was a scholar and a jurist. So yes, brother, we go back to the Quran and the Sunnah. So if a scholar says something against Quran and Sunnah, we say, okay, this scholar is not infallible, but we don't have to follow him. We don't blind follow scholars. That's forbidden. That's forbidden Islam.
But another question then. But even the Sahaba fought amongst themselves, like even Zubair, the early Sahaba, the early Caliphate broke down, and you had the counter caliphs.
Okay, first of all, you start from the scholars, then you start from Sahaba. Sahaba, when we say Allah praised them, doesn't mean they were infallible. Okay, doesn't mean that. No, doesn't mean, because it doesn't mean, now if someone, for example, if someone drinks, doesn't mean he's a liar. If someone drinks alcohol, doesn't not necessitate he's a liar because he drinks alcohol. If someone has a girlfriend, doesn't mean he's doing sin, but he can be a truthful person. He will not lie. You understand? So now when Allah praises Sahaba, there's not a condition they have to be infallible. And Allah already, my brother, may Allah bless you, already Allah taught us how to deal with the companions' mistakes. Allah said, وَالَّذِينَ جَاءُوا مِن بَعْدِهِمْ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَا بِالْإِيمَانِ وَلَا تَجْعَلْ فِي قُلُوبِنَا غِلًّا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Allah said, after He mentioned the Muhajirun and the Ansar, Allah said, and those who come after them, you and I, and all of us Muslims, they say what? They start looking for their mistakes? That's not saying Abdullah done this, you better. No, they say, our Lord, forgive us and our brothers who have preceded us in faith, and do not put a hatred in our hearts toward them. So now, Sahaba, when they fought, when the fitna occurred, not because of Aqidah Manhaj, no, because some political issues, there was a misunderstanding. Some of the Sahaba said, those who killed Uthman, we should bring them to justice now. Ali bin Abi Talib said, he said that's not the best time. Let us calm down everything, then when I control everything, then we'll bring them into justice. So there was a misunderstanding. Sahaba, they never differ in belief or methodology. May Allah be pleased with them all. So because this, you know, when you speak to Shia, they say, yeah, but they done this and that. No, when Allah praised Sahaba, Allah never said it is a condition they will not commit sin or make mistakes. However, when you compare their mistakes with their good deeds, it's like putting a needle inside the sea.
Well, how can we know that the things that they pass down to the generation itself, to the further generation itself, is not part of the mistakes that they have done?
Because as I told you, the Quran and the Sunnah has been preserved. Do you believe Allah preserved the Quran?
I mean, the Quran, yes.
Okay, khalas.
But what?
No, brother, this will be circular arguments if I'm speaking to atheists. If I'm speaking to atheists, I'm not going to use the Quran to tell him this. I will use a logical argument and outside proofs, understand? But you're Muslim. Okay, so Allah praises Sahaba. And Allah said, وَمَنْ يُشَاقِقَ الرَّسُولِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى وَنُصْلِهِ جَهَنَّمْ وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا. Allah said, whosoever opposes the messenger after the guidance has become clear to him and follow the way other than the way of the believers. Which believers are talking about? Sahaba. Okay? Then Allah will lead him into that which he has undertaken and will lead him into the hellfire. What an evil destination. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, whatever the messenger has given you, take it. Okay? You know there's a verse in the Quran. Allah also said, obey Allah, obey the messenger. So obey Allah, what does it mean? What does it mean, brother? Obey Allah. Quran. Obey the messenger? Follow the prophet. His teaching meaning. Okay? So therefore, logically speaking now, if Allah commanded me to follow his the teaching of his prophet, which is not in the Quran, therefore Allah will preserve it too. Because Allah will not going to tell me to follow something from the teaching of his prophet, which is going to preserve.
But that's the issue there. The issue is the preservation of it.
I'll just give you an example. I'll just give you...
I'm sorry?
Allah said to follow the Prophet.
السلام عليكم حياك الله كيف الحال طيب بخير الحمد لله.
I believe the Quran.
Yeah, but even the Sunnah.
Yeah.
But the Sunnah itself, because the preservation of the Sunnah itself is something that was done later with Bukhari and Muslim.
That's not true. That's not true. That is a doubt of the Mustashriqeen. Gold's here, one of them, and subhanallah, you see Muslims repeating speech of the enemies of Islam. That is not true. The time Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the Sunnah was preserved. Naam, you used to write it down and verify it. You know, even sometimes Sahaba, they used to, if another Sahabi narrate hadith, because they want to verify that, no, doesn't mean because Sahabi is not truthful, no. They just want to double check they used to ask who heard it as well. So from the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hadith was written. The proof of that, when Amr ibn al-As came to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Oh Messenger of Allah, the Arab pagans told me, are you going to write down everything your Prophet said? Even when he's angry." Then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Write whatever comes out, because nothing comes out from me except the truth." In terms of revelation. So the hadith was written at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another proof, the hadith was written at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When the people came to Ali bin Abi Talib, they said, "Is there anything specifically Allah's messenger left for you?" He said, "The Quran and what is written in this paper." So, and he mentioned that as speech, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
But then it's contested though, because like even
Brother, what are you, Sunni or Shi'i?
I'm just a Muslim.
Brother, you know, no, where is it? Is the Quran?
The mythology is something that is.
No, brother. لست بالخبء والخبء يخدعوني. I'm not a fox and a fox will not deceive me. That's it, my brother. So,
But there's a methodology, and there's a chronology of time, right? There are things that that might have been applicable while the Quran was there.
You said you follow the Quran. Agreed. The Quran says you follow the Sunnah. Therefore, you should say you follow the Quran.
Yeah, okay. But
also, Allah, the point you're missing here, Allah taught us to follow Sunnah. Once again, Allah taught us to follow Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Correct? His teaching. Do you think is it logical for Allah to tell me to follow someone's teaching and He will not preserve it?
no, that's why I believe that.
That's why I preserve the Sunnah.
Preserve the Quran. That's true.
And the Sunnah, no, but in the Sunnah, because Allah commanded you to follow two things. The Quran and the Prophet teaching. The Prophet teaching is not in the Quran. The Quran is Allah's words and the meaning from Allah, the word from Allah. The Prophet's Sunnah, it was inspiration from Allah and the word from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So my point here is, Allah, logically speaking, as we always say, logic dictates, Allah will not tell me to follow the teaching of our beloved Messenger alayhi salam without preserving it. That's why Allah preserved the Sunnah. Understand? And as for saying Bukhari came with this, Bukhari, no. From the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, companions, they wrote down, some of them wrote down the hadith, some of them memorized it. Understand, brother?
But also in the Quran, there are verses where the context of it is only relevant during the Prophet's time. For example,
Yeah, no, we're not talking about that, brother.
no, which is relevant to my point. For example, there's a verse that talks about the prophets, about the wives of the Prophet.
Yeah.
So when the wives of the Prophet has passed, even though the verses are there in the Quran still,
Yeah.
right? It means that by them having passed, then that cannot be applied anymore. So
No,
a similar argument can be.
I don't understand what we're talking about. That verse, of course, some issues like Allah, some of them.
It only applies when the wives of the Prophet were alive, right? It's the same
So not
thing-
married the wives of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yeah, the wives of the Prophet.
No, but that passage was for us to know the rulings.
Yes.
To understand why, but it's implying now, because for someone ask you why the Prophet's wives will not get married.
but
If Allah never informed us in the Quran, then how do you know why they never got married after him? We know that his mothers. But brother, you're going off the topic. I have respect. The point here is you started who are the scholars, and then you start about the companions. My point here, Allah praised the companions, radiallahu anhum ajma'in, and it all command us to follow their teachings and their understanding. And we don't blind follow scholars without any doubt, because if a scholar said something go against the Quran and the Sunnah, then we reject it. And sometimes the scholar is not conditioned for someone to be scholar. He has to be infallible. Understand? Scholars make mistakes without any doubt. Okay, I hope that is clear. Barakallahu feekum.